we're coming up towards the top of the episode, so we do have some time left. I like to do a little bit of rapid fire just to
Sure, sure.
give the audience, some things to chew on after the episode. But I'm a big believer in serendipity as well, being at the right place at the right time. And why I feel LinkedIn is a very serendipitous type of platform because I'm a big believer in the farmer mentality, in the aspect of the more seeds that you plant, the greater of a harvest you can reap. And I call it your online connection Rolodex. Like the more people that know about you, you're going to have these meetings of the minds, and you're going to have things popping up
That's
left and right. And that's what it's all about. Like the backstory with Kevin, him and I were invited to be on a panel for a dating live comedy show, and they had 3 guys and 3 girls on the panel, myself, Kevin, and one other gentleman, and three women. And it was like one of those live comedy shows. There was a comic there that was kind of like razzing the
so
audience.
it had nothing to do with coaching.
No, nothing. So we met there. We hung out like all night.
What are you on a dating show for? You're married.
Well, no, they wanted to experience, people, like what they learned in relationships and this,
All
that, or
right.
the other, like kind of sharing our expertise with the
I
people
got
in the
you.
audience. I mean, this is way before the pandemic. I think Nancy and I were engaged at the time. We weren't even married yet. Um, and him and I got to talking. He's like, I have a podcast. I'm like, oh, I am too. And we stayed in touch. We were both from Philadelphia. And
Oh, that's right. That's
again,
right.
he reached out to me, a few months ago, and he goes, let's do a podcast swap. So he came on my show. I guested on his show. And then obviously that's how you and I connected. So that's a prime example of serendipity, you hearing the episode at the right time. But if Kevin and I never made that connection, if I never said yes to the opportunity, it would have never happened. So I always end with one final question, but I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Fun.
First one, do you have a favorite quote that you like to go back to that kind of just grounds you with, where you are?
Ooh, favorite quote. Um, hmm.
If my,
I know I have something on the tip of my tongue, but I can't
well,
think of it.
we'll come back to it. What's one book that really changed your mindset or scope about how to go about business or life?
Well, I'd say the serendipity mindset. Um, that was definitely one of them. This guy's ideas about that. I I'm a fan of Atomic Habits. I have a couple books um that I listen to sort of, I just rotate in the morning. There's one that I've been listening to lately called The Art of Impossible. It's by this guy, Stephen Kotler, who writes a lot about flow. Um, so those are the ones that are mainly on my mind.
Now, with your podcast, what's the biggest thing that people could take away by listening to it?
Well, so my solo episodes, I like to talk about my treasure hunting. I tell different stories about deals. But I'd say the majority of them are interviews with people, with business owners. Often, I am going to interview you, Scott, business owners who just tell strategies of how they're solving problems in their businesses. And, it's a niche thing, but I like to think that I like to tell lots of people about it, even people who aren't in the business. I think that a lot of people can get stuff out of it. It's, about company culture, um, coming up with new ideas, training people, uh, and then yeah, serendipity, a lot of that.
Favorite thing about Chicago?
Um, Pizza and Cubs.
Uh, if you could choose one sugar cereal that you had as a kid that you can still eat today, what would that be?
I'd say the one that I still do eat today is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Great cereal. The milk is always good after too.
What
It's got
about you?
I was a Cocoa Krispies guy,
Oh,
or
nice.
a peanut butter Captain Crunch. The Cocoa Krispies, because how it turned to chocolate milk after, so you get the best of both worlds.
Wonderful.
I loved chocolate
As you
milk.
just pointed out with the cinnamon toast crunch. Yeah,
Yep.
it's
And
key.
I'm a sucker for peanut butter, and the fact that they were able to turn Captain Crunch, which was always delicious, but make it peanut buttery, they had me at that. So those were,
Interesting. It's a totally different animal, the peanut butter crunch,
yeah,
I think, but it is good. I
yeah,
agree.
big time.